What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is A2D Wednesday nights. Come talk some Phillies with us. Does this lineup need a shakeup? We're going to talk about that and much more. So let's go.
I mean, how silly is that? Man, we're talking about practice.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
Welcome in, everybody. This is A2D Wednesday nights, only on A2D Radio every Wednesday. We are brought to you by Baggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed bread, tomato pies, sandwiches, cutwoods, meatballs. You mentioned A2D Radio, get 10% off your order. As always, we got Pete Young, Greg Mlakovic. I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. We got a lot to go over. Sixers approach the end of the regular season. Looks like, as we talked about 1,000 times, they're probably going to end up into that seven spot, and we'll talk about, at the end of the show where that will take them for the 1,000th time, because we have nothing else Sixers to essentially talk about. Phillies 10-game homestand. We'll preview it. We'll give you the record through it, and the Phillies win another road series. It's 2 in a row. Obviously went to Washington, won that series. In St. Louis, they win that series. But our main topic at hand is surrounding the Philadelphia Phillies, but it comes down to this offense. And somehow, because their pitching's been so good, the Phillies are 500 and playing 500 baseball at 6-6, 12 games into the year. But our poll ties into this lineup that hasn't been hitting enough. And thank God we've gotten some really good pitching. But like we said earlier, Greg, besides Harper's three home run game, there's been nothing offensively.
Nothing.
It's been downright putrid to watch this offense night in, night out. And this has been their starts, right? And just because they start like this last 2 years, what we talked about didn't mean you wanted another start like this. But here we are. It's time for Rob Thompson to shake up his batting lineup. Do you agree? Disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that's where we're live. And everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. Most importantly, join the conversation tonight. It's time for Rob Thompson to shake it up. Agree or disagree? What do you say? I don't really know what you could shake up. You could always move some things around, right? I mean, I guess you can move Stott up in the lineup. You could try guys in some different spots, but I don't know. Is that really going to do anything? We've done that before. Moving guys around doesn't necessarily change it. But I guess it can't hurt it, right? And the way this lineup's hitting right now and how they've hit as a group, mix it up a little bit. Like, I'm not all up for, mixing lineups. I don't necessarily always believe that works. But when you're really struggling like they have offensively, then guess what? Mix it up a little bit. Have some fun, okay? You don't have to stay missionary, Rob. It's not the postseason, right? I know you guys like to stay real missionary during postseason baseball. But this time of the year, throw it in a blender one night. See how it comes out. What do you got to lose offensively? Nothing. Besides maybe score more than 3 runs. Try it out a little bit, Robbie. Because, top to bottom, and again, you're 12 games into a long season. So I'm not going to sit here and try to overact this stuff. But nobody's hitting well. Right? Brandon Marsh, who should be an everyday player and never come out of this lineup, and I'm going to tell you why, and give you some big-time numbers to support that later on after everybody answers the poll question. But Brandon Marsh is your best overall hitter batting average-wise, and then it's JT and then Trey. Bryce hasn't been good enough besides the 3-homer game. He's batting 214. Stott's batting 211. Schwarber's right around where he loves to bat, 208. Okay, Witt's batting 167. Nick's batting 163. Yoas, who shouldn't even matter, batting 161. Okay, but Turner, 277. Bohm, 238. I mean, look down your lineup. Where are you getting production? Mm-hmm. You're not. So when it's top to bottom lack of production, throw it in a blender, Robbie. It ain't going to come out hurting you. Go bat Harper in the 2 or the 4 or whatever, right? Go bat Stott in the leadoff or Turner in the leadoff. Stott in the 2. Go mix it up. Make guys not think for a night. Or maybe think. Whatever they need. but like mix it up and see where it goes. Because you might be you might riddle yourself surprised and have like an 8-run night. You'd be like,
a hit party, right?
yeah, you might have a hit party out of it. And that doesn't mean you can't go back to what you truly believe in and the lineup that you think's best. But you're trying to wake bats up.
Mhm.
That's all you're trying to do. You're not trying to say, hey, this is going to be my lineup for the rest of the year. You're just simply trying to wake the bats up. So that's where I stand. I agree. I think it's time for Robbie to just shake it up. And usually I wouldn't. Usually I would disagree to a poll like this and say, come on, guys. Right? But even though it is 12 games in and only, we've seen one outburst offensively. Like, we've been getting by smoke and mirrors, good pitching. You know, our penny hasn't even been that good, but it's been better. It's been better. It started off really bad, but it's gotten better at times. But we're finding ways to win games, to stay 500, to stay afloat early on in the year, because we've seen worse starts. We've seen a lot worse starts. That's why I'm not on here flipping out, because they sort of, I would have liked to sweep in one of those two series, but they didn't. But they still won both of them, whatever. I'll take them. And now you got to come home and you got to play some really good baseball, and now lead into our conversation after we answer the poll and get into this 10-game homestand coming up that is pretty favorable. So what do you say? Agree or disagree? It's time for Rob Thompson to shake up his batting order.
Yeah, Tom, I'm kind of like you in the sense of it kind of really doesn't matter to me, right? You know what I mean? Like it's kind of, I can go either way, right? But I'll disagree just for now, just because it feels like things are starting to get better, even though the actual production isn't there yet, right? We've finally seen, again, the least of our worries, but we've finally seen a barrel. Like Johan Rojas found a barrel finally, right? And I think that ultimately, though, is our biggest key is we're not even making hard outs right now, right? We're not even hitting balls hard. Now, granted, we have run into a little bit of weather issues, but the teams we're playing against haven't had those issues in the weather either. And if you look down our lineup, the only person right now, the only starter right now that is not in double figures in strikeouts is Bryson Stott. And he's not hitting well either, right? So Nicky's starting to hit the ball a little bit. Kyle's starting to hit a ball a little bit. You're seeing life from some of these guys. So with the homestand coming up for right now, for this next week, I'm going to disagree and say leave it as is. See what some home cooking once again does with outside of Pittsburgh with two teams, and even Pittsburgh. I mean, Pittsburgh pretty good this year so far. But you got Rockies and White Sox coming up, two teams that we should feast on their pitching staffs. I'm going to say disagree and leave it as is for now.
Okay. All right. I mean, I feel like you were a guy that sort of felt like you were pounding the table for a lineup change.
Usually I am. Yeah, usually I am. But I liked what I've seen the last, outside of being, outside of 2 13 strikeout games in a row. I liked what I've seen on this road trip, a little bit of guys that had been absolutely struggling starting to find their way.
Okay. Wait, with Nick, you're saying?
Yeah, Nick, Johan, finding some barrels, finding some holes finally, right? And I hopefully that transition and works its way through the rest of the lineup.
Mm. All right. Well, I don't know you anymore because I feel like we just switched roles here. So, all right, I'm done with you. So Greg disagrees. Keep it the same. He's missionary tonight. Just lay there, baby. I'll take it from here. Pete, Noah, what do you guys say? You guys a little bit more rough tonight, you two?
I'm trying, man. I'm actually going to disagree with the poll. Like, I understand, it's not looking great right now. The offense is not there. Like, especially not for the money we've paid. Like, people are going to complain about the Rojas situation. He's hitting better. He's hitting better than, like, the rest of the team. He's, like, 3 for 8 as opposed to some of the other guys who are, like, 3 for 30 combined. Like, with all that said, like, I don't think I would change too much because, like, what move are you going to make that's going to, like, make you feel better about this lineup? Like, the only person I would move higher into the lineup would probably be Marsh. There's no one else who I would really trust going on right now because they can't hit. Castellanos is having trouble. Stott's having trouble. Marsh is really the only guy you would really be moving up to try and get anything. Like, also, it's 12 games. Like, this is kind of going to be what your lineup is most likely going to be. And if there was like one or two moves I could tweak and everyone else wasn't struggling, then I would probably move some things around. But as of right now, I don't think anything's going to change. I don't think it's going to adjust anything because everyone is struggling. Like, the only one who's not struggling is Turner and Brandon Marsh. So,
yeah, it doesn't. You're not guaranteed for guys to get hits because you go throw the lineup around. You can just hope. You can just hope that it just takes pressure off certain guys or makes guys see different pitches or whatever it may be. Doesn't always necessarily turn out that way. I mean, at the end of the day, you need guys to hit. So, no, what do you say?
I mean, overall, of course, I have a lot of concerns. I mean, hell, we opened up the season and got pretty much embarrassed by Atlanta. But look, it's a long season. I can't believe I'm saying this, and yes, I know I was tooting the horn of we have to get off to a fast start. And yeah, it certainly would be helpful. I mean, but 12 down, 150 to go. I really would like to think that the cream will rise to the top here. I don't think, like what Pete's saying, I don't think there's a hell of a lot you can do. I mean, think of last night. I guess I know we won this afternoon's game, but take last night, for example. We got 8 hits and didn't score a damn run off of any of those 8 hits. I believe there was a situation at least once where we had a man on third base. Correct me if I'm wrong. There was either nobody out or one out and didn't get them home. So, I mean, let's face it. We're not always going to be mashing the ball, hitting bombs out of the park and hitting gappers for doubles. But what we do need to do, even when we're not at our best, so to speak, and we're not exactly clicking on all cylinders, we need to be able to play a little situational baseball at times. Now, I don't mean you send Bryce Harper up there to move the runner over and bunt, all right? But, when you got a man on third and you have less than 2 outs, you got to get him home. You got to find a way to hit that deep fly ball and get that sac fly. And it's just those things that I'm a little disappointed in. And for a team as talented as these guys are, those are situational baseball is definitely something they need to work on. Running the bases correctly, something they need to work on. And look, all in all, these guys are going to hit. I'm not overly worried about that. I think when you look up, in September, you're going to say, there you go. Harper has 40 or 45 home runs. Bohm has 30 or 35 dingers. And so on and so forth. I think what really disappoints me, look at Zach Wheeler and the great outings he's put together. And he doesn't have a win. He has 2 no decisions and an L, correct?
He's 0 for 2 with a no decision.
Wasn't he 0 for 3?
Yeah,
No, he's 0 for 2.
No, he's over 2.
He's 0 and 2.
Yep, with a no decision.
All right, with a no. Okay, well, so he's had 3 starts thus far, and he's given up what, a combined? Correct me if I'm wrong. 4 runs.
Yeah, 4 on runs in 19 innings. He got a 1.89.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean,
but when Kyle Schwarber and Trey Turner have 97 ABs combined, and they've struck out 30 times in those at bats.
Yeah,
that's not going to win. That's not going to win a lot of games.
No,
when Bryce Harper struck out 11 times in his 42 ABs. Let's go down. JT Realmuto struck out 12 times in his 38 at bats. Brandon Marsh 14 times in 36 at bats. Nicky Cass 13 times in 43 at bats.
Yeah, it's no secret. You got to put the ball in play.
When
you're not putting it out of the park.
When you go down this lineup, there's way too many strikeouts.
Yep,
way too many strikeouts. And I know it's early, but that's the only thing I need cut down on a little bit. I'm not going to act like in the big leagues the game hasn't changed and the strikeout rates aren't up. I know what they are, but it doesn't mean that I can't enjoy some contact every once in a while too. And right now we're not getting that. So that's one big thing that does need to change. That'd probably be my biggest gripe of the start of the year. Is that I'm not really worried. I'm not really worried about Wheeler getting wins or losses. I prefer him not to be 0-2 with a 1.89 because then the starts are wasted. But his wins,
I hear you. That's what I mean.
His wins don't matter. His wins don't matter, but his losses do. But his losses do. That's how I look at that. I know you do too. But I mean, overall,
I just don't want to waste good outings by these guys, you know.
No, you don't. You don't. But guess what? You got a good outing from Nola today. You didn't necessarily waste it, and he got out of there with a win. So, all in all, the back end of the bullpen has started to get a little bit better here as we moved on. You know, guys like Soto, I think, had thrown pretty well. Hoffman threw well today.
I'm glad to see they went back to Hoffman after blowing that save a couple of days ago. You know, and I'm glad to see he went back to him in a safe situation. Right? I think it was good for him.
Yeah, I do too.
Because I think it's going to be a role where he's going to have to be there this year, as we know the way Rob works the high leverage positions. Right? It's not always going to be Alvarado saved for the ninth inning, right? So we're going to need Hoffman to be there, and I was glad to see him work those jitters off because he struggled the other night. He couldn't find the zone the other night, and ultimately we got the win, but it lost him in the save.
So Hoffman is going to be one of your most important pieces. Like, this is what he was last season. He was high leverage Hoffman. Like, he was one of the most clutch players for us down the stretch last year. Like, we're going to need him. Like, one of the most important things I think for Rob as a manager is to put that trust in him, even if he falters a little bit. And you can say he did the same thing with Kimber last year where he had his mistakes. But that's what I like as a manager, to where even when you're not on all the time, you got to put the ball in your guy's glove and you got to hope they can get it done.
Yeah, he has no problem doing that. He has no problem trusting in his guys. Greg says his lineup would be Turner, Stott, Harper, Schwarber, Marsh, Realmuto, Casti, Bohm, and then Rojas. I mean, that's fine. I don't hate that, but we know we're not going to get that on a consistent basis whatsoever. So
yeah, you're not throwing with the way the pitching works out. You're not throwing 4 lefties in a row.
No,
you're not hitting 4 lefties in a row.
You're not. And Martian says Wheeler pitched 2 gems.
Would you even want that?
What that lineup or
4 straight lefties?
No, they're not going to. Well, they're not going to do that ever. That's like anti-Rob Thompson. You know, anti-Rob Thompson would say, "Screw it. I don't give a shit." But Rob Thompson absolutely is not saying that because he lives and dies by the matchups, which is the dumbest shit ever. So.
Yeah,
too much at times.
It's dumb. I mean, Brandon Marsh's numbers are like sick, dude. They're like sick when you put them in the names of players around Major League Baseball. Okay, like you're talking about a guy who's only a year older than Vlad Jr. and who, let's say, he's 26 years old, 287, 370. I guess that's his slugging. Or is on base. And then slugging. So 256, 337. These are slashes, 435, right? Tatis, 257, 319, 454. His on base, his OPS, over his last 162 played, tops the likes of Bobby Witt, Marcus Semien, Adalis Garcia, Christian Yelich, Jose Ramirez, Luis Robert Jr., Gunnar Henderson, Alex Bregman, Michael Harris, Bo Bichette, Adley, Julio, Rodriguez, Randy Arozarena, Manny Machado, Goldie, Tatis, Lindor, Vladdy, Xander Bogaerts, Nolan Arenado, Carlos Correa, George Springer. Do I need to fucking go on?
Tom, I don't think that was enough players. I'm going to need another 20. I'm sorry.
I'm not trying to be that dryer sheet that this gives you a bunch of stats and nonsense, but give the guy a chance to play every day. I think he's traded
one of the most underrated players in baseball. Like, I think we're going to look back years down the road and that trade and just wonder how we got Brandon Marsh. for what we got.
I mean, look at what he did the past 2 postseasons. I mean, shit, he can hit. He can come up with clutch hits.
He's a good fielder.
Yes. He plays a pretty
Give me
damn
a good
good
fielder who can hit like 280, 290. I'm sold.
I'll take it any day.
I don't understand why he's not hitting every day. And look, I understand he has trouble with lefties. I get it. Like I just don't care.
But does he?
He's getting
We
a
don't
lot
know.
better.
We don't know though.
We don't know consistently. Like I'd rather have him suffer for a few weeks and go against lefties, because then I can look at that and be like, all right, cool. I have the data. I have the information. I can see with my own eyes that he can't do it. But like a few games here and there doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't make me believe that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and guys hit lefties at this point their whole life. So I'm not even like, it's just go do it every day. Like you're going to trust Harper to go do it every day. Well, he's running out there the same slash line, right? He's running out there the same slash line. He's got Harper's slugging percentage is 475 over his last 162, where we already said that Brandon Marsh is 473 over his last 162. Like I can't get much closer.
Yeah.
He literally has the same. I mean, it's crazy. He has Trout's on base percentage, 365. He's 370. So he beats Trout. And then Soto's batting average is 287, and he's 287. So think about that. And the whole thing I read was like, imagine if you get Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, and Fernando Tatis all in one.
Really? I thought I saw one where it had him as Soto as well.
Yeah, it was Soto. It was Soto, Trout, and Bryce Harper. But then it compares. Yeah, either way. And then it says down here, it's like talking to Tatis again. But either way, it's
minus
crazy.
The drug bust.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that's kind of numbers. That's kind of numbers he's spitting now. And it's like, well, play him then.
Yeah.
Like you just play him. Just play him. There's no reason not to play him every day. Every single day. Guys hit lefties plenty enough. All right. Through his circuit coming up, the college ball, the minors into the pros. He's hit enough lefties. So it's just now you got to go run him out there every day.
Greg, what's not to like?
Nothing.
Well,
I'm sorry. You're talking to Craig Miller. My bad.
Sorry, my man.
The other thing you got to factor in too is what you gave up to get him, right? I mean, essentially, you gave up, your top prospect, right? Your top hitting prospect, albeit blocked at catcher, but you gave up a top prospect, and just for a utility guy is what he's turned, what he's starting to be. It's almost like that value you need more return on your value, right? You need an everyday player. And he's proven that he can be. He just isn't there yet for some reason in the eyes of Rob Thompson.
Bro, I don't even know if it's in the eyes of Rob Thompson, if it's just in the eyes of a goddamn million dryer sheets up top somewhere.
True.
Yeah.
I just think they trust the numbers a bit too much. Like, I'm a big analytic guy. I believe it. I think numbers are important, but you should also be using your eyes. Like, go with what your eyes are telling you. Like, and you can't be using your eyes if you don't ever see him hit against lefties.
Well, it's not even that. Like, if you want to use numbers and they want to be numbers guys and use them a ton, well, we just gave you numbers.
Yeah.
Right. So I think numbers have their place, and I think your eyes have a big place. I think if you don't value numbers at all, I think it can hurt you. But I do think you need to value your eyes more than anything. Overall, as a guy, a pure enough hitter, there's nothing in his approach versus lefties that makes me think that he can't hit them. There's just nothing. Like, as a lefty, yeah, it's harder to hit lefties. I get it naturally, but the more you see him, the more comfortable you get. That doesn't mean he needs to be in there every time we play Sale. Then guys like that have that kind of funk. Like, okay, that's a different type of funk, but like.
Yeah, no, but you're right. And if they always do that too, but not that you're ever sitting Harper, but Schwarber, regardless of how he's hitting, never sits. Right? You're still muted. Harper obviously doesn't sit, right?
No, they did the other day. They sat him versus somebody. Was it Sale or was it somebody?
Schwarber?
No,
No,
Harper.
they said Marsh.
No, they said Harper too.
Oh, Harper. Yes, that was the day after. Yeah, the day after a spill. Yeah, and they claimed it was a. They claimed it was a. It was a scheduled day off. Scheduled day off.
No, when you trip over like that, yeah, that
game of the
wasn't.
year, we have scheduled days off.
Yeah.
Damn. Last time I tripped like that, I had to take a drug test.
Oh my God.
Good Lord, man. What am I going to do with you?
That's great. That is phenomenal. Did you pass it?
Flying colors, baby. they couldn't believe it.
No, we
Oh
had him.
my.
They're like, we thought we had him this time.
Damn it.
Damn it. You got away again with it.
We can't get rid of him yet.
Oh,
Guess we got to put him on next week's schedule.
Yeah.
I
I'll
can
be
see
on
that.
the,
I can
with
see
my
that.
luck. I'll be
You're
on the
su-
schedule the next 47 years.
I can see your supervisor at home just grinding it out. Like, thought I had him this time. I'm going to get this son of a bitch.
Where retirement's going, you might be doing this another 80 years, bro.
Yeah, really. We'll all be working until we're 80.
Yeah. I hope I get to 80. All Trey did before here was rake as a leadoff, Wilson says. I don't know who Brian Wilson is. Anybody know who Brian Wilson is?
Never heard of him.
We switched it up. Hasn't worked. Lead him off. Well, what I'll say to you, Brian, is feel free to come on a Sunday, agree to disagree, and elaborate on that.
Stay away from brunches or afternoon delights.
So
Well,
what
afternoon
hasn't
delights.
worked, Brian? That's what I want to know. Like, what's not working? Like, Schwarber continues to show you it's working. Like, they're not going to take him out of the leadoff spot. Like, I get it, but like, I understand everyone likes baseball the way they like baseball, but it's just not happening. It's not changing.
Yeah.
This is your leadoff hitter. Unless he starts hitting like 69, 68, whatever, no walks and no homers for the next 3 months, yeah, it's not changing.
Of course it's not. It got us to the NLCS last year and the World Series the year before. Like it or not, Schwarber's staying at the top of the order.
Proof's in the pudding,
doesn't
baby.
bother me enough. And
Yeah,
I
I don't mind a threat of going up 1-0. First pitch of the game,
Yeah, I mean you can do that with Trey too. So it's not like you can't, but right. I don't think Trey's numbers.
I would just say Kyle's a little more consistent.
I would definitely not say he's a little bit more consistent at anything, but I hear you. More consistent on what? Hitting home runs?
Yes, because the whole thing is like you're going to be up 1-0. Like, are you going to be up like that with Trey Turner being up 1-0 after one swing?
Why can't you? Trey can't hit a homer?
I'm not saying he can't. I don't think he's going to hit them to the consistent
Listen,
clip.
I'm on this side, but let's not act like Trey Turner didn't hit last year. I mean, he started out terrible and then got hot. So, I don't necessarily believe like him leading off. And Wills, we've had this conversation. He batted second with the Dodgers that the year prior, and he batted 298 and drove in 100 RBIs. Okay, and had 21 home runs. Last year, he had 26 home runs from the 2-hole. Like, the year before that, he had 28 in totality between Washington and the Dodgers, right? He went from batting leadoff to LA where he got plugged into the 2-hole.
Yeah.
So, and batted 338 in that time. So I'm not going to buy into that. I'm not buying into Trey Turner forgot how to hit at a high rate because of one spot difference. I just don't. If you want to get that deep into it, when they do it one damn time, then I'll say it again, be my guest. Like, I'm just not going to do it. I know whose numbers drop when they're not in the leadoff, and that's Kyle Schwarber for whatever reason.
It's not even just his numbers, though. Like, it's the whole team. Like, for whatever reason, this team is massively affected when he is not in the leadoff spot. I've never seen anything like it. We probably never will again. They're just a better team overall with him in the leadoff spot. This is just the way it is. If it changes, I'm willing to change. Like, I'm a flexible individual when it comes to sports. Like, if you show me
I'm
something
glad
that
you
needs to be
clarified.
What the? Oh man.
You literally got him that. You let him
I
get you that
flustered him
off.
that bad.
Like you got let Greg of all people get you that off track. That's unbelievable. This is brand new on H&E Radio. Greg actually got somebody that far off track. Usually we're just getting Greg off track. Usually that's how
it's
things.
me.
Usually that's how things go here. I mean, he's been
You got
feeling
me on
good
that
about
one. I won't
this.
lie. Yeah, you got me on that one.
That's funny.
He really did forget the rest of his.
Yeah, you
comment.
forgot where you're going on. What up?
Yeah.
What up, Philly?
What up,
What's going on? What's up, brother? Wells, here he goes. I mean, we're just gonna do this all night. Schwarber can hit 220 and get walks and hit homers anywhere in the lineup. Okay.
Disagree.
Like Brian, I don't know. Like you're so like 1980 right now. I need you just to get up here and just realize that it doesn't have to stay the same. Like I get you. I agree with you. I'm old school baseball, right? I think that way, but his numbers are just that much different up there. Like Pete said, I hate agreeing with PY, right? I hate agreeing with Greg, but at the end of the day, his numbers are that much better up there. Like I'm not going to run from the facts. I'm not going to run from what's been in front of my face. They've tried it. And like, I feel like we hit worse. I feel like my eyes, I didn't even need numbers. I just watched the games. And I was like, this is brutal. Put him back in the leadoff. You know what I mean? You almost miss him there. I can't believe I'm saying that. Because when Trey got here, I was the big advocate when Trey got here to lead him off, to make sure Trey Turner leads off. You don't get Trey Turner to not lead him off. Blah, 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 blah. I did it. Right? It didn't matter. So this is where we're at. I don't want to continue down this road either, because this can spiral into a way too long of a conversation about who the hell should be leading off when that's not going to change. You want to throw the lineup in a blender? Be my guest. Make sure as you're tuning in, hit the like, subscribe, follow, turn your alerts on, join the conversation. You can still vote on the poll question. It's time for Rob Thompson to shake it up. His lineup, that is. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Still comment in. You can still vote over on Twitter. And I'm going to read you off where we stand right now. Hold on. Can't do two things at once. So the poll question, 94% agree. Shake it up, Robbie. Shake it up. 6% obviously on the disagree. Continue to vote in, family. Fuck with an algorithm tonight. Keep commenting in. Hit the like if you haven't over on YouTube or wherever you're watching us from. Let's go tonight. Let's go tonight. You want the Phillies to get hot? Let's just start with getting over, like, I know it's Phillies talk in April and the masses really don't come out yet. Let's start with getting over 20 likes. Let's start with, all right? 25 on YouTube. I get you. I see you all. I know how it works, right? I'm not going to be the guy to call you all out, all right? But it'd be nice. It'd be nice if you came out before August. That's all. Some of you, not just the casuals. All right, I don't want, it's just like you get the diehards this time of year. And then the casuals really come out. Right? And it's like, all right, stick with us all year. Maybe we'll do better. I hope this homestand's a little jammed up, though, too. And we're going to segue into that.
We got some favorable competition or favorable teams coming in, that's for sure.
We do. We got a 4-game set with the Pirates starting tomorrow. That'll take you through Sunday. Pirates playing really good baseball as of late. Okay, as of early. let me repeat that. As of early, they're
12
playing
games.
Really. Yep. Rockies then come to town. Then you get an off day next Thursday, and then you got the White Sox for 3. So where do you see this shaking up, boys? 10-game homestand. Where do you feel like it ends? Because they got to start playing good baseball at home. They have not done that yet.
No.
Again, two early homestands doesn't define a year. But where do you guys have this shaken out at?
I'd like to see 8-2. Let's go.
Give me 6-4 or 7-3. I'll be happy camper.
Yeah, I'm on the 7-3 tip.
I'm that 7-3 range because I think Pittsburgh's. I think Pittsburgh's really good right now, right? So if you split there, then you go sweep one of the other two, and then it leaves you one game there. I would love a 3 for 4 out of Pittsburgh, right? That puts you in that 8-2
that'd be
range.
fantastic.
But we got to give Pittsburgh a little credit for the way they're playing right now.
They've started out really well,
Really hot.
obviously.
I get it. The Pirates are up and coming a little bit, but it's time for us to get on a roll here.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Not against it.
No, I mean, it'd be about time that they did this.
Yeah.
Swoopy says 7-3 to that. Yeah, I'm a 7-3. I mean, you got to start playing really great baseball at home.
Yeah,
that thing can't start in July. You know, that's got to start playing out now. And you played so bad at home to start. Now it's time for you to switch that up. And when I say so bad, you're 2-4 at home to start. Okay, Pittsburgh 6-1 on the road, so they've been road dominant to start out the year. All right, and we've been 4-2 on the road, and obviously have played better there. But now it's time to start playing some better baseball at home. And 7-3 will really get you looking a lot better at home than you've been.
It makes up going 1-2 against both the Braves and the Reds, right? You know what I mean? At home.
Yeah.
Right? It takes that little sour taste out of your mouth to start the year, and it puts you back in a winning record with again, if you look at the rest of the schedule, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but the rest of the schedule of April is pretty favorable even when we hit the road. So we can end April, a bunch of games above 500 heading into, May and June. That would be a real good start to the season. And again, wipe the bad taste out of Atlanta, Cincinnati to start the year.
Yeah.
We can just finish April like above 500. I'd be happy. Like, because the last few years, it's been a rough start.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, now the only disagreement I have with that is just being like over 500 is the competition you're playing in April. That's my devil's advocate to that.
Yep.
That like I'm like I need to get a little hot, just a little hot. Like you know what I mean? I just need to be like lukewarm. Can I be lukewarm through the rest of April? I don't need to be scorching. Can I just be lukewarm? Like I want to finish. I want to finish 5, 6, 7 games over 500.
That's exactly
that's where I need to be. I can't be a game over, right? And feel good because like, all right, it wasn't as bad as years past. No, because I'm only playing harder teams. It's only going to get harder for me because of the teams I was afforded early on.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't give a shit Pittsburgh's playing good baseball or not. Right? You're too good to just like the either lose 3 or 4, which we know is always up for grabs, or just be 2-2. Like that's a 3 for 4. That's a come home and say, all right, I know you got off to a nice hot start over 12 games, 9-3. That's cute. Back. Right? Let me smack them back down to reality a little bit, even though they're super talented for a young team. They're not Orioles talented, but they're super talented for a young team.
Look, I know we used to say, hey, when the weather warms up, hitting season begins. Well, we can't wait until it's 90 degrees out to start hitting. I mean, we need to start hitting the baseball, scoring runs, and just overall playing better ball. I mean, the pitching so far has been pretty good, but, we need the bats to come alive.
Oh, without question.
I can't agree more.
We can't wait till July for the bats to come alive. I mean,
like we're the only
until July. We're in trouble.
It's like we're the only place up in the I get it. It is not easy hitting in cold weather, but it seems like we're the only team up north that seems to always have a problem with it.
That has issues.
Right? It's like everybody else finds barrels up here.
Yeah.
Okay. Pittsburgh, I mean, they were 3-2 at home. I get it, but it was still better than us. Right? I mean, Chicago's been playing in frigid temperatures. They're 5-1 at home. So
Atlanta had no problem lighting up our pitching staff.
Yeah,
exactly.
They played the same weather, right?
Yeah, we just like to make excuses sometimes. Like, oh, it's hitting season. Yeah, it's obviously the ball's going to fly more when it's warmer out. Everybody knows that. You don't need a big time baseball IQ for that one.
Yeah,
but it doesn't mean you still can't find barrels. I mean, we're acting like when it's cold, you can't find a barrel. That's never been proven. There's not science behind that one. Come on, people. Come on. Everybody else finds barrels. We can't have everybody striking out like we have at this like ridiculous clip. I mean, I know me and Greg talked earlier. The Dodgers have struck out at at a horrific clip, and they're 10-5. So, again, they're striking out at a big time clip, but they're obviously still getting production. They're still getting production. They still have enough hits mixed in. They're still obviously hitting with runners in scoring position enough. They're losing the baseball. You can't have it both ways. You can't have everybody batting under 240, 12 games in. Somebody's got to be hot.
Yeah.
But like Noah said earlier, it always does flip a switch, and your numbers seem to always be where they're at by the end of the year. So if you factor that in, and we're 6-6 and nobody's hit, right? You assume some guys are going to start getting hot, right? And some wins are going to follow. Now, the only thing that's, like I said earlier on, the only thing that's kept us in this has been our pitching staff and our bullpen. In reality, our bullpen hasn't been that great.
Oh, that's
right.
It's been okay. It's been okay. It's not. I mean, your two best arms in there have been your worst two, and Alvarado and Sir Anthony.
Yeah.
You really look at it. So, your two guys you're counting on the most haven't get anything. It's a common theme of this entire team. The guys you count on the most outside of Nola and Wheels, because Nola threw good yesterday in those conditions, or today, sorry. Felt like yesterday. And today in those conditions, right? He threw well. So, you've gotten good starts. Now, your other two Nola starts weren't as good. Start two was better than obviously start one. Start one was the only real bad start. Now, he's pitching terrible. He's pitching terrible conditions all three. Yeah. He hasn't gotten a dry game yet, I feel like. That's why people were worried about his velo being down 2 miles an hour down today. That doesn't worry me. That's just boring. So, but think about that. You're 6-6 and you got nothing really. You got a lot out of Wheels so far. And Stone and Hoffman, right? And Strom have been your best relievers per se.
Yeah.
And Turnbull. Yep. You're right. You're right, PY. Yep. Turnbull's been really good.
Ranger's been solid as usual.
Yeah. I mean, ever since the Atlanta series, our pitching's been fine. So hopefully that continues. And as long as the bats wake up, and look, I see no reason why we won't be neck and neck with Atlanta the whole way. And you don't want to see anybody get hurt, but let's face it, the injury to Strider, I mean,
it's huge.
That's gigantic.
That could be game changing when it comes to
without a doubt.
Division.
Yep, no question.
Yeah, let's keep
he's
it
he's a 12 to 15 plus wins guy. You're gonna live and die with him.
He's a potential Cy Young candidate.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right. So when you lose that, you lose a top guy, 1-2 in your rotation, right? You're not going to be the same. Now they're still really good, and they'll find ways to win games and still be really good, but they definitely take a hit. Not only regular season wise every fifth day, but come October, they take a big hit.
Yeah.
So I forget the other name. Wasn't there another big name that had a UCL injury this year and is gone for the year or most of it?
Shane Bieber.
Oof.
Is he still Yeah, he's still pitching for Cleveland, right? Yeah. Well, not for the rest of this year, but
not this year, no.
Right.
And Garrett Cole didn't have surgery, but he's shut down for now. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to get him to pitch through that, which is not good.
Yeah, that's not smart.
Pope says if the offense is stagnant, can't expect different results trotting the same lineup out there. Adjust it to the matchup accordingly. Well, Rob, they do that too much. That might be the problem. Right? They adjust. They're all so worried about the damn, who's on the other side more often than they're worried about their own side. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Instead of worrying about rolling out your best hitters or the guys getting the best swings, etc., they're too worried about matchups all the time. This is why we have not won a World Series yet. If everyone wants to know why. This is why we have not won a World Series yet. Part of the reason. And the fact that we've watched these bats do this before.
Yeah.
So
I'm at the wrong time.
So I'm a big doing the same thing over and over again is insanity and all that. But I also think in baseball, you just need to let things go at their own pace. You can't look at what we used to do lineups. We used to have a new lineup every 3 days. I don't think that's good for for a baseball team, like especially when it's trying to compete, because you need some stability and you need to find that sweet spot between the perfect lineup and like changes here and there.
Yeah, you do. No, you do. But you need to have your eyes involved in knowing who your overall best hitters are and the guys that are swinging the best in that moment. I know a lot of this lineup is going to be missionary. A lot of this lineup is going to be running the same guys out there, rightfully so, because you're not going to like just sit guys down 12 games in. You really don't want to have that type of leash, right? Depending on the player. I mean, listen, when you're around guys 162, you know your clientele per se better than I do at home.
Yeah.
Right. As you should. And if you don't, then you should be fired, which like that. We're not saying that for Rob Thompson. I'm saying that for any manager. Okay. So listen, you know what guys you can do what with. You know what guys, if you give them a breather, they're going to be pissed. Right. And you're going to lose them. Mm-hmm. Right. And you know what guys that you're going to get the most out of from those types of things. But I'll say it again. One guy who needs to be in the lineup, 95% of the time is Brandon Marsh. And that's the theme for tonight's show is Brandon Marsh.
He's an everyday player. He's got to be.
Absolutely.
He's earned that. Period.
He has.
So 12. We're 12 games in as of right now. Who's your surprise and disappointment so far?
Probably figure out more disappointment than surprise.
Yeah.
I
think Scott playing where he is right now is a little bit of a disappointment because I expected a lot from him to start the season.
Yeah, my disappointment's his entire lineup because it's the same way you left off last year. So you want a disappointment, it ain't one guy to me. It's a collective group. Because you just left last year. You didn't flush last year as a lineup. You didn't learn from last year as a lineup. That's my biggest takeaway at the start of the year. That doesn't mean we don't win a World Series. That just means you at the start this year, you either didn't flush last year, which part of me thinks they didn't, because they wanted to talk, they talked about it way too much on the way last year ended, and they've carried those at bats over as a collective group. And my biggest surprise is probably that. You're right. Like it's probably that. Like I think too highly of what's in this lineup for that to continue to happen. And it starts with it starts with Harper and it starts with Turner and Schwarber and Nicky and JT. That's what it starts with. And then we can go down the list. But Nick's still fucking guessing, which I'm sick and tired of watching. All right. And I mean, we talk about Harper needing an MVP type year. 12 games in, not the start we wanted.
Not an MVP start. That's for you're
no.
Right, Tom.
So
not an extension start either.
No, you can take the extensions.
Yeah.
You can Jalen Hurts that extension.
I see what you did there. I like it.
Or you could P. Diddy that one.
Oh, hey.
Oh, now.
Too soon.
I think my
we're just gonna keep going, Pete. Don't get me started. We can just go down this rabbit hole tonight. We don't want to do this. We'll save that for late night Twitter. Late night Twitter scrolls.
I think
I got a great post going out in a little bit though. A great.
Oh God, I'm scared.
The dunk in the Cleveland game. I don't know when it was, but somebody was like right behind the other guy dunking, and I was like, NBA.
Oh yeah, that was last night.
Last night, right?
Yeah.
It was the Bulls. I don't know why I said Cleveland.
Well, no, I think they're in Cleveland.
But yeah, you can go look at that on all your social profiles right now. Photo of the year. Did he make the dunk?
My disappointment, Sir Anthony, right now.
That's a good one.
Yeah, he just ever since coming back from the injury, he just hasn't taken that next step of consistency. Right, one batter, he'll just look absolutely filthy, and you're like, "Oh my God, is he back?" And then the next two batters, they take him deep.
Yeah, he
There's
can't
just-
put a full
it's
inning
just-
together.
Yeah. And
He can't put a full inning together. Yeah,
he's such
been
a
he's
roller coaster. It's
And I
insane.
think
he's been a huge disappointment, and he's been hurt a lot in his career.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a guy, it's a kid that I've thought so highly of.
Yeah.
Yep, same here.
From day one. And yeah, I don't love that he's off to essentially another rocky start when we're putting a lot of eggs into that basket, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And he's still young, but yeah, he's got to get it together, and it's got to be sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
As young as he used to
I was
be.
going to say, is he
Yeah.
still at this point?
Yeah, what, mid to late 20s?
It's like 27, 28.
Yeah,
You should be figuring that out by now.
Yep. No
Maybe
doubt.
he might be the only guy who didn't come back from Tommy John better.
Yeah.
Like that's us.
Well,
too,
remember,
right?
he didn't
is
get the
us.
surgery
Facts.
immediately. He waited like that.
He did try to wait it out. But he still
That's what
got
took
it.
him so long to come back.
Today I try not to put too much stock into because of the weather's freaking brutal today. But he hasn't been good enough. Same with Alvarado. So the two of them really need him, or they're going to be shopping for a closer.
Yeah.
Real soon.
And then I guess my surprise, I'll go Turnbull. I thought he's thrown the ball really good his first two starts. And you know, the one he pitched 2 days. Yeah. That's the day Hoffman blew the save, right? So he took a win away from him. But I thought Turnbull's really thrown the ball well in his two starts.
I do too, Greg. I mean, that's somebody. I think the last time was it Wilson. The last time he was on.
Yeah.
I mean, at least he brought insight. The last time he's ever been on here.
And
we haven't seen him in 3 weeks, but
and they're going to need him. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Good.
No, I'm done. So is he.
Well, I was going to say Taiwan Walker's done. I mean,
if Turnbull continues to play the way he's playing, like that's a trade chip. Like you're on the way out, bro. Because before the injury, that was a Cy Young type player. Like he had that one really good year. If you can get that type of player back for nothing, like that is huge out of your 4 or 5.
Yep.
Cy Young who?
Wait, what?
Pete,
What,
Cy
Turnbull?
Young who?
Turnbull was like he had one
he was
year.
a
He had
Cy
the one
Young candidate?
exceptional. He was an exceptional year. Like I didn't mean like he was a Cy Young winner. I meant like that type of talent. That 1 year he was really exceptional.
Okay.
Before the
got you.
injury.
Yeah, I got you. So for some reason I thought you were referencing Taiwan Walker in his year
Yeah.
last.
No.
I got a little.
I haven't
What
been
year-
drinking that much, Greg.
Well, how much have you been drinking? 'Cause what year was that?
It was a few years ago before he had Tommy John, wasn't it? He had that exceptional year that everyone keeps talking about.
I don't know if they're counting 2021, where he pitched in 9 games and he had a 2.88. I guess that's the year they're talking about, where he pitched 50 innings. It's got to be the year, but that's not enough. I mean, that ain't enough for me to be banking on that. But yeah, I mean, the year before he got hurt too, because in 2020 he only pitched 56 innings in 11 starts. So, but they were his 2 best years. Then he came back last year with Detroit and he wasn't good, and obviously got off to a great start in 11 innings pitched. But over the last one, well, he missed all of 2022, right? But 1, 2, 3, his last 4 years or 3 years as a starter, biggest thing's been injury. So it looks like that's the biggest thing. 'Cause the only year he went a full year was 2019, 148 innings pitched. So
And he was 3-17.
yeah. Again, I don't get caught up in that, but I do.
Well, he had those 3 wins.
But if you could get what started in 2021, then sure, yes, absolutely. That's a home run. Even if you got PY, even if you got in between 2020 and 2021, even if you put those numbers together, you get 106 innings out of a guy. Hypothetically, you have about a 3-4 on run average. I mean, that's a home run. You even got that kind of production from him. I think that's a home run, right? So,
and what it also does too, and especially with Taiwan coming back, and who knows if they'll do it, but we talked about the 6-man rotation, right? It doesn't preclude you from doing that to welcome Ty back for a week or two, right? Something just to say, hey, let's ease him back in, but let's not just all of a sudden take away a guy that's thrown really good the last few starts. By the time he comes back, he might blow this up in our face, right? It's how they do it with us. He'll come out and get shelled next week, but if he's still pitching well, it gives you some options to play some games of like 6-man rotation or skip a start here for certain guys, right? I mean, like I said, it's the majors. They don't like to do those types of things. But it opens the opportunity to play those types of scenarios out.
Well, what I would love to see is if you go to a 6-man rotation, how do Wheeler and Nola look late in the season? And maybe they go even deeper into games. Maybe, they're going to be able to stay out there and give you 7 or 8 innings instead of having to worry about yanking them in the 5th or 6th.
Anything that can help you save Wheeler and Nola's arm heading into September and October, I'm all for. So,
yeah, absolutely. And I think it'll let them go deeper into ball games. I mean, yes, of course, you still need your pen, but it's an easier path to get to your high leverage guys in the back end of the bullpen.
6-man rotation might take some pressure off the pen, You don't need a bullpen game because you'd have Turnbull.
Exactly. You don't have to run Matt Strahm out there in the 4th or 5th inning.
What about Bailey Falter? You didn't love Bailey Falter last year?
I mean, I know he's just kind of quote unquote an arm, but I'll tell you what, I'll give that kid credit for what he is. He was serviceable while he was here.
Have you been drinking, sir?
Huh? I mean, I know he's not.
I know 1-7 last year with like a 12 ERA.
Well, all right, last year aside, but I just overall he wasn't. I mean, he was only half a tomato can. All right.
What are you talking about? That was like 3 tomato cans in one.
Well, I'm more referring to 2022 when it comes to Falter, but
2022 he helped us.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got more out of. I think we squeezed every drop we could out of Falter, is what I'm trying to say.
I think he's on the Pirates. I think he's coming to town.
Yes.
Yeah, who knows? He might be starting over the weekend.
He is.
And he'll know him.
Oh, my God. Is he?
That's exactly what will happen. He was one of the worst pitchers in baseball last year, but when we go against him, we're not going to touch him.
Yeah,
we face him on Friday.
Oh, boy.
30 Sanchez versus Bailey Falter.
Oh, here comes a 4-hitter.
Yep, we won't have
Sanchez
one lefty in the lineup.
Sanchez is going to give up like 8 runs, and Falter is going to have like a 1 or 2 hit game.
Yep.
No, remember, Pete? I was touting Sanchez. He'll probably.
What, you and your 15 wins?
Yeah, he's going to go 7 innings and only give up a run. What are you talking about?
One deal.
It was not a good start to your predictions there, pal.
Yeah,
You can't win them all now.
I don't think he threw terrible on his first 2 starts. I thought his first start he threw pretty well. Last start wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. Again, these things get magnified, right? These questionable starts, right, or not great starts get magnified when your offense is as putrid as it has been so far.
Yeah.
Right. Like Tommy alluded to, right? We had the Bryce Harper 3 home run game is the only game this year that this offense has scored over 5 runs.
And by the way,
every other game we've been 5 runs or less, and I think we've only scored 5 runs twice.
If this offense really wakes up and is the offense we think it will be this year, Sanchez has a shot at getting 15 wins.
Sure. I'll believe it when I see it. That'd be great, but I'm
15
not
cents.
so sure about that.
15 wins, you think?
He's got a shot. Sure, why not? If his ERA floats around 3.5 or 4, he's got a shot. Our lineup's more than good enough to give him the run support.
He wins 15 games, lunches on me.
Sounds good.
Well, only lunch.
Where are we eating? McDonald's? Am I getting a kid's meal?
Hoagie of your choice, sir.
Yeah.
You'd be lucky to get a kid's meal.
Wow, that hurts.
That's all right. I mean, I get the occasional gift card at work. So
There you go.
Before or after the drug test?
Oh my
Just curious. I was just curious.
yeah, after, they got to make it official first, Say, hey, you passed here. Have a Walmart gift card.
It's nice of them.
Very,
Very nice of them.
Yeah, they do what they can.
So, talking Sixers, Martian says Magic and Heat both lost tonight. 6th seed still in play. And
Didn't have to win out.
Well, we play Orlando Friday night at 7:00 game. And then Orlando still has Milwaukee, the last game of the year. So I got to find out the tiebreaker with us and Orlando, if we own that tiebreaker or not. That's what I need to find out.
Call me ridiculous, but I think we have a shot to win a first round playoff series.
I would hope so.
You're ridiculous.
Greg,
you're only talking first round. We match up right, we could be right there in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Greg, did we go over this? Are we 1-1 with Orlando right now?
Don't know. Let me look.
Let's find this out, because then if we beat them and we're tied with them and we went out and they beat Milwaukee, then we get the 6. So we have a backwards way of still getting in this. And now it's nice to control your own destiny in a way. Unless we're 0-2 versus them, then we don't control shit. Or we're 0-3 or 1, we might not control nothing when this is over.
I believe we're 2-1.
So we control.
December 27th, we won. February 1st. I'm sorry. December 27th, we won. January 30th, we lost. February 1st, we won.
Yep. Right. Yeah, they're 2-1.
I mean, what seed are the Bucks right now? Are they 2 or 3? Huh?
2.
I mean, call me nuts. I think we can beat the Bucks.
Well, we might not even face them, right? Because if you
I hear you. If we get the 6, we'll play the 3. Yeah,
especially with what's going on with Giannis.
Yeah, and Doc Rivers is known for shitting the bed in the playoffs. So
what? No, he's so trustworthy.
Then you would see the Bucks. Like if you were to 6 and then you won, then you would see the Bucks in the second round. If that makes sense. If the Bucks ended up winning.
So
right?
Yeah, I think what you guys are saying, with the Heat and Magic losing, Sixers now have an inside track for the 6th seed, barring a weird tiebreaker. Let me try to see. There is one quirky way the Sixers can find themselves in the 7th seed. If the Sixers are tied with the Magic and Pacers, Orlando and Indiana would have the tiebreaker over Philly because divisions. There's still divisions in the NBA, and that could come back because the Magic won the Southeast. So Sixers need to win out. They need Orlando to lose out, or Indiana to either win out or lose out.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot going on there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So you could take them out head to head and still,
at least from this article, and that's from Paul Hudrick. Because I guess the Magic winning the Southeast Division would put them over the Sixers in a tiebreaker scenario. But what we can do is we can control our destiny. We can control what we are able to control, right? And that's win out.
If you win out, like you got nothing to worry about.
And let's see. So obviously the Magic play us next. Who do they have?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
All right, that's interesting. But yes,
I mean, it's not unlikely that they can't lose out, right? Which is something that we would need.
Yeah, I mean, they've lost 2 in a row since, our last conversation about them. So there's still that chance. And us winning out at this point seems to be extremely realistic. So now we're banking on Indiana to beat Cleveland and then beat Atlanta at the end of the year.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know where they come into play in this. Why do they come into play? By them winning out.
Because they're ahead of us. They're I think the 6th seed now.
Yeah, but what does them winning out have to do with it?
They would jump into like the 4 or 5 seed. And then Orlando, instead of dropping to the 6, would drop to the 7 because we would jump in there.
Oh, so even though they win the South, means that they're
not tied.
But means that they're not okay. Even though they win the South, if they're in the 7 seed, they play in the play-in no matter what. Gotcha.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, that's where it comes out, because like Indiana's not in their division. That's why I was wondering how that factored in. Okay, so you need Orlando to end up getting into the playing game. That's the only way it works. Okay, stupid in a way, but
yeah, it's the NBA. What do we expect, really? But everything always gets tricky when you factor in.
So you could have a better record in Orlando and not make the playoffs. Not be in a playing game.
If we're tied, I think, yeah.
Yeah, or tied, yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, weird. Well, tricky. Never got that.
I think the whole play-in thing is ridiculous anyway.
Well,
I think they're just trying to make the end of the season.
We'll take it this year.
A bit more for people.
They're trying to make people play. No, they're trying to make sure guys play. This whole season, you can like it or not like it in the in-season tournament and etc. But
right,
the goal of getting guys to play seems like they've gotten that.
Yeah, I guess they're tired of teams having scheduled losses.
Yep. So I mean, they've gotten that. And I'm not saying it's been perfect, but I'll give the NBA credit. It's been a lot better than years past. Yeah. I'll tell you that much. I feel like if you tracked, most guys probably played, a lot of games. I'm not saying guys didn't have a scheduled day off here and there, right, but not like it used to be. Now we're really feeling like we were getting load management from a lot of different
a few
teams.
A few years ago, like teams who were in the hunt, like some of them were just phoning in. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're done. There's no chance to make the playoffs. Just rest our guys. Maybe we'll throw some G Leaguers in there. No, like they're playing all their key players because there is a chance to get in. Like there is a chance to make some noise. Like look at the Lakers a few years ago. Like if you can win that play-in tournament, you don't know what could happen. Like you get favorable matchups. Maybe you can make it to a conference final, depending on how things go.
Yeah, Dales, I agree with everything he said. Sixers playing good basketball right now. Got to avoid the play-in. I don't think they have to avoid it at all because they're going to win the play-in. They're going to be the 7, and then they're going to go play Milwaukee. So I'm not scared of Milwaukee. That's why they won't get Boston to the finals, no matter if they're the 6 or the 7. It couldn't match up better. They will not see the Boston Celtics until they get over their hump. Right? So then it's a win-win for us.
Yeah. Then
we're out of the second round. We don't do it with our fucking hands. So maybe we'll relieve some pressure, and that's how we go. And that's how we go slay that dragon. The no pressure series.
Let's do it. Because I think Nick Nurse
Daly, what's going on, buddy?
I think Nick Nurse will coach circles around Missoula.
Oh, without a doubt.
I don't think there's a matchup that he doesn't coach circles around besides Spoelstra in round 1 in the playing game. That's the only one. And I still think that isn't that big of a landslide as it used to be with our coaching staffs here.
Right.
With Eric Spoelstra and how he would just get the best of us. But I mean, they look like they mailed it in tonight at home.
Yeah.
I mean, they got trounced versus Dallas tonight at home.
And I don't think Luka played, right?
No, Luka played.
Did he?
But Dallas had like the best defensive efficiency in their because they're like 16-2 in their last 18 games.
Oh my God.
And they've had the best defense efficiency in basketball. So funny how that works.
Yeah, you play defense, you win games.
Huh. Yeah, Jason Kidd's got his guys playing D over there. So
playing D in the big D.
Ha 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 ha.
You're freaking stupid.
Yeah, I am.
But yeah, they went from struggle bus, dude. I mean, they're 9-1 in their last 10, winners of 5 in a row. I mean, they've been scorching hot.
Well, there's been a lot of talk of Luka for MVP. So, you know, in order for that talk to hold water, you kind of had to see a change from him. Not from necessarily from him, but it's tough to win it when your team isn't very good.
And bro, they went from nothing to a 50-win team. You know what I mean? Like they weren't even close to that, as you can tell. But in 16-2 in your last 18,
yeah,
they weren't even sniffing that. They were playing city if they were lucky, right? They went from like barely in the play-in to going to win their division, and they're probably going to end up. I mean, they got a chance of getting as high as 4.
Yeah, hosting a playoff game.
So
we're hosting a series.
Hosting a series. So I mean, either way, that's a run, but it just shows you defense.
Yeah.
Right? Defense. But we've been exactly as advertised when Joel's been back too, though. You know, winners of 6 in a row. That's not by accident.
No.
And 5 of them with Embiid.
Well, that takes the pressure off of everybody else.
Yeah, when he's on the floor, they're one of the best defensive teams in the NBA.
Yep, that's why the record is what it is when he does play. Because, like I said the other night, they're very similar to how good Boston is when he plays. I'm not to that like level, but to any of the teams out west that have like Minnesota's got 55 wins, right? Sixers would be at 55 plus wins if Embiid played all year. Yeah. Like, okay, so they're not going to be one in the East because I'm not telling you they're going to get to 60. Like Boston's at 62, but I'll tell you that they'd be probably playing around the closest 700 winning percentage around that. It wouldn't be as far off as it is now, where you're like, oh, it's not night and day different between the two teams. Not when Embiid, it's not night and day. They still might be better, but it's marginal.
Probably 55 plus wins with Embiid.
Yep, easy,
yeah,
easy 55. Which puts you as the second best team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Which is what they kind of were before you went down.
Don, I like Brunson. I mean, I don't know what the Knicks are, but I do like Brunson. He's a good player. I mean, they're tough. They'll be a tough out for somebody, I'm sure. Since OG came back, they're better. I mean, if OG's been back, I think he has. So if Adebayo's been back, they're just a better team. Their win-loss differential when he's in the lineup and not is pretty glaring for a guy they just acquired. You know, at the deadline. So they're tough. They're going to be a tough out for somebody. I mean, they're not an NBA Finals contender by any stretch without when you take Julius Randle out of there, but they're still a tough out for somebody.
Yeah, they're going to be a tough out because they play defense, right? I think where they're going to struggle potentially in the playoffs when we talk about, what you just said. Oh my God, why am I blanking? No, Julius Randle is I don't know that they can necessarily score enough in the playoffs, right? Against like the Bostons, against the higher echelon teams to be a true title contender. But I definitely think that they can, win a first round matchup depending on who they're playing against for sure.
Yeah, like I don't think, oh my God, just right on load management. It just was the Clippers came up on the bottom line and it was all 3 guys out. Knee, foot, hammy.
Crumbula.
Stripper.
Yeah. I'll tip her.
Stripper got him. But no, the Knicks are good. The East is really jam-packed together. Right? I don't Boston's obviously the clear favorite, but there's some other teams that are really good that, you don't want to see in 7, but not as many as the West. I mean,
It's
the
weird
West
that,
is,
it's
the
weird
West
that
is like,
the
I don't know
West
who
is
you
so,
want.
yeah. It's crazy. Because I don't believe half of it, right? Like, I don't believe that Oklahoma City's the best team in the West.
No,
But
they're not. But
they
yeah.
are, right? You know what I mean? Like, in theory of schedule-wise, or not schedule, but like record-wise, you'd have to say they are. But does anybody really believe that?
Well, they're not anymore.
Okay, did they drop?
Essentially, like Minnesota and Denver are half a game above them, and Minnesota and Denver are playing right now for that like sole possession of the 1, essentially.
Okay.
So yeah, but to your point, they're win total, they're right there. They just have a game. They have a game ahead, and they're 1 back in the loss.
Yeah.
But to your point, like, yeah, you wouldn't think they're a top 3 team, but it says they are. It says they are. And then you got Phoenix, Sacramento, Lakers, and Warriors all in the play-in.
Sacramento's another. Oh, they're in a play-in, so that makes sense. Phoenix in the play-in doesn't make sense.
Game back at the Pelicans of the 6.
I would expect more the Pelicans to be in the play-in than you would expect Phoenix.
Yeah, and it's just because Phoenix has lost 2 in a row and the Pelicans have won 2 in a row. There's the jump.
Yeah.
There's the jump. So.
Couple days left, and let's see where it all falls out. I'm interested to see.
It should be an interesting ride.
We should win out, right? If we don't win out, then that's on us because it's definitely favorable for us.
Yeah, it is. It really is favorable for us.
Couldn't really have asked for a better finishing scenario.
Especially with Embiid going down the way he did and where we are right now. Like, you have a chance to right the ship a little bit despite everything.
Yeah, you just need some things to fall your way too, though. So it's not just you control your own destiny, right? It's not as simple as that. So you're just hoping that, Indiana can do what they need to do and win 2 in a row. And then obviously us take care of winning 2 in a row, which would end up taking Orlando out and putting us up in the 6 and Indiana into the 5. So let's go. Boys, you got anything else before we sign out of here for the evening, for the week?
No. Let's go, Phils. 7-3. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go, Phils.
Yeah, is it
good road trip?
Is it me or is anybody else annoyed that we open up against Green Bay in Brazil?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a home game that I wish we would have had at the link.
Yeah, I don't. Oh man, sorry. I don't. I hear you. I hear you. I don't need to be. I don't need to be playing in fucking Brazil. But I'm not going to sit here and the NFL's a crumb of the year with what they do.
Yeah.
All right. So we could do a whole show on the lack of caring for their players that goes on in the National Football League.
Right.
Where you got other sports.
There's Thursday night football, there's Monday night football, there's
Brazil, there's London, there's
before you know it, they're going to be playing
Christmas this year.
I'm sorry.
They're on Christmas.
Yeah, and isn't Christmas on a Wednesday this year?
Yeah. So we're getting a game almost every day of the week.
Although, quick trivia for you. The last time the Eagles played on Christmas on a Wednesday?
Went to the Super Bowl?
No, we beat Dallas 23-7 in a Jeff Garcia game.
Oh, wow.
2006.
That's going deep into the hat right there.
Yeah. We beat Dallas and took the division. How about that?
Only you would come up with. Only you would know.
I would never. How would you think of something like that? Like,
I'm thinking it's the year we went to Super Bowl with Foles and we played.
That
might have been Christmas Eve. That was Christmas Eve.
Jeff Garcia threw 3 touchdowns, 420 yards.
We were just a different team back then.
Hank Baskett was amazing that year.
That was back when our defense knew how to tackle, Back when they were allowed to tackle.
I'll say this, though. If there was a time that I wanted to play overseas, per se, or in a different country, it would be week 1. So
Yeah.
If I'm gonna do it, then
against an irrelevant AFC team would have been nice, but
I don't really care about
that.
that. I don't really care much about that. I just care about getting it out of the way. I don't need to travel to London
Week 10. Yeah. When it's all on the line. No,
because
I hear
that's when that's when the bodies are more beat up, and the less longer flights, the better.
Yep.
That's how I look at that time of the year. The less I gotta fly around the goddamn country or out of it, the better.
Yeah, just look at the Jaguars.
Yep, get it done week 1.
Yeah.
I don't need London. I'm not traveling to none of this shit. So at the end of the day, I'm not the guy who needs like the far travel trips to get my loins freaking juiced up for a monster year. Like, get the fuck out of here. Everybody wants to be the dryer sheets and act like they're the biggest goddamn fans because they travel. That don't define your fanhood, babe. All right? It's never going to define mine, and it doesn't make somebody more of a fan than me because they want to paint their faces up or whatever the fuck they want to do, and they want to try. I'm not taking shots. I'm just saying that doesn't make you more of a fan than anybody else. It might sound like I was taking a shot, but I really wasn't. Like, that's not going to make you more of a fan. People think that is like, that's a diehard. No, it's not. Somebody with a lot of time on their hands. I don't have that much time.
Had money.
I don't have that much time.
That is not a free flight to Sao Paulo.
No, but I will trade places with those people any day of the week. It's just not in my budget or in my cards to go to every Eagles game or go to every game of our teams, period. Like, I wish I had stupid money. I wish I had the flexibility to do it. I'm envy of it, but it does not make anyone more of a fan than any of us who don't travel with the team or don't go down to the stadium every Sunday or fucking Thursday or Saturday or Monday, whatever it may be, right? So that's all. So I could care less where they play because it doesn't get me excited. Like, oh, I get to travel to Brazil. Like, I wouldn't, if I was going to travel to a different country, it wouldn't be for a sporting event.
Right.
Doesn't mean I wouldn't like to at some point. It just means, like, if I'm going to go get somewhere in the bar, give me the palm trees, give me the ocean. I don't need to put the jersey on. That's all. I don't know. My bad. My fault, guys. Nah, my
All right, gonna go cancel a flight to London to see the Phillies.
All right. Greg felt attacked.
Shots fired right at the guy sitting to his left.
That's all right, Greg. Catch the ball game and then go visit Big Ben or whatever you're gonna do.
I'll go around the top of the upper decker bus.
Yeah. Wave to the Queen. EAGL.
No, I'll be a Phillies game. I don't talk Eagles at Phillies games.
I got you.
Don't.
God bless you.
Oh my God.
No EAGLES Eagles chant at the game. You don't want to do that.
No.
Don't want to be that crowd.
You're gonna go all the way to London for that? You know what I mean? Go all the way to London and get the burst out the EAGLES.
Yeah, because I needed to do that.
Yeah. Don't cancel your flight, buddy. It wasn't at you. Just don't. If I see you with a little, if I see you with like a bat in your hand and like a glove, right? Like you're really trying to play the part, then we're gonna have problems. But until otherwise, like I'm good with the jersey.
Mean street hooligan action.
Yeah, like a nice hat, like totally cool with. I just don't want to see it like a goddamn bat boy. You know what I mean?
Boy, go get my fish and chips.
Oh man.
Yeah, just don't go be the bat boy for the Phillies that weekend.
I could see him taking a trip to Wrigley on the 4th of July, sitting out in the bleachers.
Oh, come on. That sounds like a good trip, man.
Oh, fuck yeah, it does. Glove and all. Glove in one hand, a beer of choice in the other.
Looking for Henry
$30 beer in the other hand.
Looking for Henry Rowan.
Oh, good times.
Always.
All right, boys. We're out of here for another Wednesday. ATD Wednesday nights. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Hit the like, subscribe, follow, turn your alerts on your way out. We appreciate it. Go Phils. Go Sixers. This time next week, we're talking postseason basketball. So we're going to be talking about getting over the damn hump next week. So let's go. For No Eaton, Pete Young, Greg Mwakovic, who's traveling to London. I'm Tom Arnone.
Say hello to the Queen.
Might start hashtagging no face paint, and we are out of here.